Sound would be good. I wasn't listening to myself. Hey, Paulina. Hey, Stan. So, going on behind us. Let's see if I can hear the balance in here. That's my, that's my collaborator. Hey, Ian. This novel reading interrupted by Beetlejuice. How are you guys doing? We've got the sounds of my collaborator Fred Fung behind me. This is just a whole bunch of randomness from some recent tracks that I acquired of his. Then some, maybe none, possibly all of these will make up what ultimately becomes Music to Design by Part 2. So, sound on, yes. Right, Paulina? Says the sound guy, right? So, hey, I see Desiree, Hauptmann Kicks, PJ Gaudier, nice to see you, Sensationo, Mycraft, why black and white? You know, I'm getting an immense amount of light in here. You know, I don't normally stream at 2 in the afternoon, so it's very, very bright today in the desert. It's about 115 Fahrenheit, and the color was just looking really weird, so I'm going black and white. But yeah, right. That's why my hair's up too. It got so hot yesterday, and truthfully, when I am in sort of production mode, it's usually not down unless it's really cold, because it gets, you know, studios always get hot with all this gear, all these machines. So anyway, well, hey, great to see all of you. I don't know if this audio is going to be too distracting or not. This one, some of these are just vamps. Like, this might go on like this for a very long time. Yeah, see, and a lot of these are, the way that Fred composes, a lot of these are, they're elements to something else. So I just randomly grabbed a couple, about 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About 18 tracks. As soon as I unplug this, of course, it rings. I just grabbed about 18 tracks and threw them into a playlist. But you can hear this one. I mean, I think this is called Wacky Wasi, and you know, this is probably something that he used somewhere else as some kind of vamp. So you're rocking up and up to. I'm rocking it up to. Yes, you can kind of see. It's messy. It's messy. It's, you know, it's what I used to call my Euro bun. It's tied tightly back. Yeah. So. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna take these two out of here because that is annoying. So here, let's just get this out of here. Let's see what else we got. Because some of these are distracting. I haven't listened to them. So I said I grabbed 18 songs of his. There's probably about 250. This one. This is kind of cool. A 12-minute strange delay vamp. All right. So I'll just leave that on kind of quietly in the background, and if it gets really irritating, you can tell me, and I'll turn it off. All right. Oh, here, let me before I switch over. You can see how bright, especially when the screen gets real bright on my face, just there's so much light coming in today, which is nice. I'm a fan of natural light, don't get me wrong. By the way, you know what, too? And I realized this must have been something that's changed on the Twitch side, because I noticed that it's not tweeting out when I go live anymore on my channel, even though it says and it had been before, so it was working. And even though now it says that I'm still authenticated via Twitch and via with Twitter via Twitch. I probably just need to log out and re-authenticate again, and then it should work because it's not tweeting any of this stuff out. These should be your countdown noises. Yeah, these are This one is affectionately called Craziness 222. I don't know what that means. But you'll notice that at some point, some of these are like proper songs. I don't know. Like I said, I just grabbed a random selection here, so this could all be kind of background craziness. I don't know. Excuse me. Okay. So, did you go on 4 hours ago? I see a tweet 4 hours old. Delay. Yeah, no. You're seeing a tweet from Twitter that I went on 4 hours ago? That would be weird. I'm not even seeing it in my stream. Yeah, I mean, I didn't test anything. Oh, it's pointing to the VOD. Yes. Yeah, I made... yeah, that's actually... if you want to link to that CBR in the chat. So, yesterday we did this... it was very chill. And at the very end, I did this kind of meditative thing. I think actually everyone who's on here now was in there. So you will have heard it. I made a 2-minute clip of the meditation music piece, which was kind of nice. Well, here you can kind of hear it. I can actually play it. Let's see. I can play the audio. You don't need to see the video, but I can play the audio. So this is from yesterday. There'd be a whale somewhere listening to this, getting all flustered and hot under the gills. Yes. Fred definitely has a lot of that underwater kind of thing going on with some of these. So I started by playing a little bit of strings Let It Be, and then it turned into oohs and ahs, sustained oohs and ahs on a suspended fourth. And this is the audio directly. I'm playing it in browser right now. Meditative. Nice. More than a few great moments. Thanks. Yeah, it was yesterday was a fun time. Fun stream. Hey, so why I wanted to do this now, and I'll probably take these headphones off. I was wanting to keep them off just because like I said, it was getting hot in here. So you remember a week or two ago, I actually we spent a day and I started compiling a whole bunch of footage that made up a series of selections that I wanted to upload to Adobe Stock to become a stock contributor. And I did a video here to kind of tell you how to do that and what it's all about. Anyway, I wound up completing that process today, And here, actually, I can move this over. And just to show you here, so these are, I'll just pull them up briefly. These are the clips that I submitted, and this is all the, and you'll see them up here in the upper left. These are all oh, here, I'll probably play this at full res too. They're all ProRes, ProRes 422 HQ, and it's just a series of these like metal and machines, and all the selects were made on stream that day, and I went through. I didn't have that much, actually. It only wound up being about 10 clips. Like that one, it's pretty shaky. I don't imagine that's going to get picked up at all. And it has some beautiful kind of still moments in there, a couple neat ones. But anyway, it's all done. So 58 Fahrenheit. Oh, yes. Yeah, so to think about it in Fahrenheit, I'm more than 50 degrees warmer than you are right now. Minecraft. So, yeah. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. The desert is so hot right now. It's scary. So anyway, so these are the finals. These are the selects, and I was going to also pull up, you may recall, the actual spec, because there were some questions about what types of file formats are supported. Oh, nuts. And here, I wanted to show you. So I clipped this. This is directly from the Fotolia site. So you can see here. So, and this is a bit outdated and needs updating because it doesn't list all the current codecs and things that they actually support. So I don't know. I mean, first of all, ASF, no, don't upload that. FLV, absolutely not. Right? Do not upload FLV video. No. No one wants to buy that. Like that's obviously been there since they started accepting video quite some time. I don't know why it says FLV. No one's going to do FLV. H.264, yes. MOV. Now an MPEG-4, MPEG MPTS, MPEG video. And then it shows the codecs, which again, FLV, no. DV video, don't upload DV video. Again, I mean, I guess you could, but it just, if you're working in DV, you're not going to see a lot of sales on DV in the world of 4K. H.264, MJPEG, MJPEG-1, MPEG-1 and 2, MPEG-4, RPZA. I don't even remember what that is. VP6F, okay. WMV2, WMV3, okay. Really when we're talking about more professional codecs here, I want to know like ProRes and all the flavors of ProRes and some other things. But it will support those. Minimum resolution 320 by 240. I mean, kind of silly. Who's going to be uploading video that small? What even shoots that small anymore? Max file size, so this is kind of essential here, roughly 4 gigs. So now that, I really need to find, I mean, that is the case, but I imagine that should be lifted because, again, if you're uploading 4K and the maximum length is 60 seconds, you can't get 60 seconds in 4 gigs of 4K. So, or maybe, no. You'd be cutting it pretty close. Maybe you could. And 4 gigs is a huge file anyway, but it's not huge when you talk about 4K and beyond. 6K, 8K, these files are just so enormous. I think I mentioned before, 6K, 11 seconds is approximately a gig. 11 to 13 seconds is somewhere around a gig for 6K footage. So this is, this isn't going to do very much. FPS value should match the footage. That's good. This was the essential part, though. Sound is acceptable if it's a natural part of the scene. Music not permitted. So I've seen a lot of stuff up there that has like ambient sound when I was looking for these sort of rainforesty content. So it had kind of the natural rainforest, waterfall. Thank you. Couldn't think of the word. Waterfall sounds and stuff like that. So that stuff is cool. but obviously no music and no, you don't want other non-naturally occurring sounds. And I'd say for the most part, unless it's actually well recorded sound, even if it is natural sound, waterfalls notwithstanding, I would probably mute the audio anyway. You know, unless you're somehow feeding the camera with just, glorious sound externally, or you're syncing it back after the fact. Poorly, semi-mono sounding, badly EQ'd waterfall noise. There's better ways and certainly more effective sound effects that you could use underneath that. Anyway, so this is kind of just giving you an idea of some of the clips that I uploaded. They're just, it's like machine stuff, in this shop here. This is a couple of these motorcycles that are kind of neat. So, okay. Got into a yoga class. Oh, nice, Polly. I just read that. That's cool. All right. Oh, okay. And we've segued. What are we on now? Faces on My Thigh. It's a creepy one. Okay, that's very creepy. I don't know if I can work with these things playing in the background. All right. So anyway, so that was the stuff that I shot today, that I exported today and uploaded to Adobe Stock today. So I don't know the time that it takes for them to approve. So it could be, I imagine it's at a minimum 24 hours. And I uploaded about 20 clips in total. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but should be interesting. I'm very psyched to see what they accept and what they don't, for that matter. Obviously, as we were talking about, I gave you some guidelines and things, and there's duration limitations and such. Has to be minimum 5 seconds, no longer than 60. A lot of these clips I stabilized because they were handheld, and some I left handheld because the handheld looked better, and stylistically it worked. But I don't know. I don't know what they'll go for. So here, I'm going to now go through. Now I started this on stream a while ago. Okay, so right there, that clip is 2 seconds. So I really should just drag all of these in. There's so many. There's so many clips. I don't know that makes a lot of sense. I don't even know what I was doing with this timeline. I guess trying to find something. And this is just like one card from... Yeah, this looks like it's like a day and a half of transfers. Now the other thing that I will do... Let's do another media browser panel. So there is also a collection of these. In fact, we can look at these now. Minecraft, but they said you're too young. Oh, interesting. Okay. On Twitch, I can't ask you your age, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't realize there was an age limitation, but I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Okay. So I have here, so these are already clips that I've extracted and graded. So like, take a look at this. This is kind of neat. So this was this is not a time lapse. So this wasn't shot from stills. This is actual video, which, to be honest, I'm almost a little sorry I didn't do a stills time lapse, because I mean the sun was just. So this is Africa, South Africa. I don't know if it's coming through quite as beautifully on stream, but there's just like amazingly gorgeous shadow detail. This is at like 5:30, 6 in the morning. It's winter time. The depth and like of seeing all these trees, it was It was unbelievable. I'm shooting this with the 400 millimeter f4. Excuse me, with a 2x extender. So this lens is just massive. And on a tripod though. I have some handhelds of that too. Not fun. And so I shot the whole sunrise for like however long it took. I don't know, 30, 40 minutes or something. And then did a time remap in After Effects. So that's what you're looking at there to kind of speed up time. You'll see the occasional very fast like bird or something float in front of the lens. So again, kind of wish it was a time lapse, because the problem is time remapping video to go faster, particularly when it was only shot at 23976, and this being 1080.
Good at 5.6. You think?
Oh, that's my audio. So I'm shooting at f5.6. Here, I'll just kind of scrub through it. It's it's a neat shot. But unfortunately, it's 1080 only. I wish it were 7,000 by 5,000, which would be if it were stills, that's what the image size would be based on the native raw files that the D800 shoots at 36 megapixels. So yeah, Paulina, pretty cool, right? Yeah, I shot this. So this was D800 with the f4 400 millimeter lens with the extender. So this is a nice clip. And now these are already treated and graded, so I wouldn't have to do any more to that. That I will just submit as is. Here's another one. So this is like that was the last half. Here's the first half, and again I'll just scrub through it. On here you can actually see right there some birds. I don't know if that's coming through either. So you can see some birds in there, but because it's time remapped, they go by so quickly. It's a neat shot. Like I said, the limitations of the codec and everything. The sun. This is something which again in stills it looks different, but the sun was. The edges were looking a little pixelated, or slightly more pronounced and pixelated than I would have hoped. Although it kind of also looks like it's on fire, which is kind of cool. Anyway, so those I'll distribute as is. Although now I just realized I'll have to strip out my. I didn't realize I left audio in there, so I'll have to take that out. But that's okay. Let's check out some of these other ones. Some very beautiful shots here. So this is 1 minute and 13 seconds.
Very close to two brothers, so usually stick together.
Oh, okay, these all have audio on them, which is a drag. But here, let me throw this down into the timeline video only. Take a look at this. So this is oh, sorry, my camera's in the way. Anyway, so I'm just doing like a focus pull between the lion there, whom I was trying to get to just look at me, and this branch twig that was in front of me. Okay, and this is a cut up scene. Okay, so this is a couple different shots. Nice. Now it's a bit more saturated than I would do today. It's always kind of funny to see how you graded something. This is when I was really starting to get into it. I wasn't very confident in doing it, but I was starting to get into it. That was the shot. I stood there for like a half hour just to get that little head turn. And see, these are all handheld, but this is intimate. I think this one has it has value because it is very intimate and close up, and the color is pretty nice. I think this is where the lion gets up and he's disinterested. Now, what I love about this whole scene is if you look at this right here, and this is kind of one of these one of these things that we talk about a lot, talking about, you know, flat versus graded. I think this might be from the same, yeah, this is from the same session. So let's pull this up in the program monitor here. So, I mean, look at the difference. All right, you can just see, like, because again, this is wintertime in South Africa, so it was June, and shot flat, I mean, it's obviously very desaturated, a little soft and no contrast, but it just doesn't look like there's even very much here. But what you're able to pull out in grading, you know, is really quite amazing. I mean, you can really see it here, just the sort of the vibrance and the detail, and actually seeing a lot more of the natural sunlight that was hitting. This was also probably fairly early in the morning when this was shot. Let's see if we can get kind of a matched scene here. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Often colored and flat. These are quite beautiful. What's the minimum length? 5 seconds. Yeah, so 5 seconds is the minimum length of these clips, or the minimum length of clips that they will accept for upload. You know, and I've got a bunch of these things, like, you know, I don't know what this is. See, here's an example where, do we need this sound? Absolutely not. One thing, it's piercing, but you know, it's, you know, playing with depth of field. You know, that's pretty much it. Pulling focus, which is nice because you can see, oh look, nasty spider web all over this this little branch right here. But you find a nice, still, not moving shot. You know, it's moving. I'm at f2.8, probably at 1/50th of a second shutter speed, seeing as it's 24 frames. I mean, there's some nice detail here. You know, it's beautiful. And then as I, you know, swap to the background there, emphasizing the trees and stuff, you get some nice. But I don't know that they would take this. It's pretty handheld and a bit shaky, but it's kind of neat with the rain sort of falling in front of it. So we'll see. We'll see about that. You thought it was a shower? Yeah, I don't even remember exactly what this was. It doesn't appear to be rain. It must have been like a waterfall thing inside. I think this was when we were taking a break. We were not on the safari at this point. Kind of fun that you're getting to see the motion blur of the water drops there. So, I wonder how much uploading exactly 15 and 30 seconds would give you an edge. Well, you know, that's a question. I mean, it could be. I mean, the thing is, 15 and 30, you actually need like 17 and 32, right? Because you got to have some handles. You don't want to have, if that was your goal, to do video that's specified to a specific time duration, you got to have handles, you know, because there's always some potential clipping of the start and stop that can happen. So I would say, if you're going to do that, yeah, make them, you know, 17 and 32 and 62. You know, leave at least 12 to 24 frames before and after, if you can. You know, I've got a couple of those clips. They're like 5 seconds in one frame. They were pretty. I don't know that they'll get accepted, but they're the minimum length anyway. Good sort of B-roll cutaways. Yeah, it's fun. I like that. I'll save that one. So anyway, so these are all the graded ones. Actually, I should probably just go ahead and review all of these because there's the buffaloes getting frisky. That happens. It's the wild. Here, let's see. Let's get past this. Okay. All right. I'll drag. Here, I'll set the in on this. I'll drag the video down here. Oh, and these are, okay, so you can see here, they're comps. So I've already comped together and graded a bunch of clips. So I will have my work cut out for me because they're already compiled. So I'd have to separate them out. But, you know, like that stuff, you know, there's some beautiful, beautiful moments with these. You know, some really nice, beautifully sharp moments. Still handheld though, so some of it not so great, which is probably why I compiled a lot of this. Yeah. Looks like I had a little bit of stabilizer on there. There's this bird pecking on the animal. So you see that there? You see what's happening with these birds? Right there? So, yeah, evidently they feed on the little, I don't know if it's maggots or whatever, but it's all part of nature's plan. Because we were asking, because we saw these things all over the place. And like, oh no, that's, you know, the buffalo, don't bother those birds. They're actually kind of cleansing the wound in their own weird way. You could see them on both of the, you know, there's like a few on this one here. Right? Because if you uploaded the mating animals, would stock accept them? I have no idea. I mean, obviously they don't accept anything that's, you know, adult questionable with people, so I don't know. I'd say I mean, I won't be uploading that piece, so, you know. So now this shot's okay. It's a little shaky, but I like it because the buffalo's smiling. And the grade is real nice. And you really get a sense of, like, you know, you can see the snot, the boogers and the flies on this buffalo's nose right there. It's a little shaky. I don't know. But look, she smiles. Or he smiles. Right there. It's very nice white teeth. If he uses any special toothpaste for that. Alright. Yeah, check that out. That's a nice grade. Now that's even a little contrasty for my taste, but I actually like it, and you can see. Check out all the flies and everything. It's just fascinating. You know, like look at the mouth right here. Go full screen. This music is kind of trippy behind me. Okay. Graded differently. See, these are graded at like different times, different days. Now that's kind of a cool shot. Obviously applied a little bit of warp going on there. Hey Katzenman, what's happening? A side to side of the buffalo horns. You know. Interesting. Kind of neat. So yeah. All right, so there's good stuff in there. But those will have to, it'll have to be all cut up anyway. So here, what's this? This is just, okay, this is just a pan side to side of the buffalo there.
Yeah, I can kind of toasty. Yeah, I can kind of toasty.
Look at his eyes.
Yeah, I can kind of toasty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can kind of toasty.
the eye of the tiger going on right there. So, all right. So let's see what else. So I'm going to just review all of these first. Now this shot, technically, I guess I could use this because there's no faces. How long is it? Oh, plenty long. And this is just a morning, we use this as an establishing shot for this little doc that I made for Nikon when I did this. Oh, cool. Hey, oh, you're getting ready to your 8K shoot, huh, Katziman? Oh, nice. And that's Paul Tranny right there, actually. But because you can't see his face, and it's interesting, I don't know if I left this a little more flat and then graded the other. I mean, obviously, I'm in a different direction here. You can see the sun's in a different direction. I really like the grading on this section. It's almost a little... I mean, this is very natural. This is really what it looked like. So kind of neat. Okay. And here's another shot, different day. Driving at night. Okay, this is an elephant comp. So yeah, you know what? These are all comped pieces. So, arg. It's going to be not quite so easy to... here, let's see. This is like one shot of an Impala.
It's a little bit rough.
Hey?
Again, I'll have to...
Is it too hectic?
I'll have to remove the audio. That's otherwise all right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can't see their face, there's, unless, I guess you could make the argument, unless it's a very recognizable, if someone had a recognizable tattoo or something, and they're, bottom line is if you can't see their face, you don't really have to worry about it. I mean, this is how they get around it, and they don't pay every person in a film who walks by whose back of the head they see. They're not charged as extras. Can't see who they are. So faces matter. This is still okay. But I don't know how strict they are in terms of what they accept. But most stock companies, yeah, if it's no faces, you're fine. And then if you have faces, all you need is a model release. And it tells you that on the site when you go to upload, actually. Hey, Taria. Great to see you. Yeah, it's late. Sorry, I'm starting a bit later, too. What is this one? Heavy vamp, long. Yeah, this is long. So general rule is, yes, you don't want any faces and you don't want any brands, right? We looked at that and saw what a lot of stock stuff that's already up there they did, where they would just tape over the Apple logo or something. And if you've got license to use it, that's one thing. But if you don't, but for people, it's really as simple as just having the model release, and then it doesn't matter. So this is some pretty cool night shots of the hyena. Now, again, this is a comp, so like that one scene is good.
Yeah, I'm sitting at
Some of these others,
2000.
some of these others are kind of short. I wonder if they'd let me upload this as a comped clip. Probably not. It would have to be separate. That's a neat shot, though. Or a recognizable silhouette like Mickey Mouse. I don't know. Because again, I don't think a silhouette would so much probably be an issue. Maybe. Again, I don't know how aggressive they are, because you think, well, it would imply a likeness. So yes, maybe Mickey Mouse would be like an exception. You could say there's probably a couple of cartoony characters where you could make that claim. So maybe. I don't know. That's a good one though, Pauline. I like that. Because it could be, right? And Mickey Mouse being the brand, I mean, being what it is. Like that's the thing. You're talking Disney. It's kind of in that domain of, Beatles and other things. It's sort of like the untouchables. Oh, here we go. This one's cool. What's this? half samba. That's actually my bass line from Loopology. I like that one. Okay, so we've got some hyena here. These are all really short. You see, this is like, you know, well, this one isn't bad. This is hippo and waterbuck. Now let's see this. It's a minute. Yeah, they might. I mean, you know, you'd have to... I think it's more a question of, you know, where and how it's being shown. A silhouette would be... It would be hard to it would be hard to prove, because you could certainly fake that in any number of ways. But yeah, you know, dealing with Disney, like I said, it's like Beatles. You know, you're just it's too holy grail to even mess around with. Okay, so that hippo, a couple nice shots, but they're all very, very short. But that's kind of a nice with the mist coming off the water there. That's a very nice shot. Yeah, that's legit. This is a separate clip there, so let's see. Right there. Yes, that's 9 seconds. That's cool. Wide shot there. Okay, wow. Well, it's going to be a lot of work for me to use these renders. I should probably go back to the masters and see if it's worth... Oh, there's another... Whoop, jumping on board. All right. Animals getting excited. So these are waterbuck. Kind of shaky there. It's pretty though. Again, you know, this is winter, so the vibrance of the colors that are coming through post-grade, it looks very dramatic. And it's early morning light. Kind of neat. What would be my next camera to make 4K? Well, to be honest, and it's been rumored for a while. I hope preferably the next update to the D810, whether it's the D820 or whatever. So that's what the back of a waterbuck looks like. That's what I'm hoping for, because again, that way I've got all the glass, you know. I'd like to stay Nikon and stay kind of DSLR-ish if I can. We were talking yesterday about the Sonys, you know, and you can get mounts for these other cameras to convert the lenses. But I really like Nikon, so it's been rumored for a while. Hopefully they do that. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Hey, TC. What's happening? You know, if I had my choice, like I said yesterday, I mean, I would love an Epic or a Dragon. But that's not going to happen. And it's not necessary. I mean, I don't shoot enough for it to warrant owning one of those. But certainly, if I had to go on a shoot and rent one, it would probably be, at a minimum, an Epic and probably a Dragon. Alright, so there's a lot of finished stuff in here. Here's something many of you have probably not seen before. A wildebeest. I remember this clip. I didn't love this grade. But that is what a wildebeest looks like. I think it stops for a second because we made some noise by accident. It kind of like... It's looking right at me. Kind of flops its ears. Did you see that? That's kind of cool. And keeps on going. Just a wildebeest walking around. All right. Yeah, so right, you had the Ursa Mini 4K. Yep. And you already had the Canon glass. So Stan, do they have is there a mount? Is there some kind of external mount you can get for the Nikon glass for those, or no? Because again, that's the thing. A lot, the Black Magics and things. I think they've all got. You can get various P&L mounts and whatnot. I don't know if the Ursa Mini does. Okay, this is a horrible looking grade. I don't know what I was doing on there. Oh yeah, retro brown. Eesh. Yeah, and some of these may have come over from something else. I don't know. That should definitely be none. Oh. He's got all adjusted. Fast color. So 2 lumetries and fast color. What is that even on there for? Interesting. They have the PL model. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so there's more. I mean, that's the thing. There's lots of more and more options coming. I mean, I think for any of the, certainly the, and now of course the big thing is mirrorless, but pretty much everything you're going to be seeing new coming will likely support 4K. Now that's otherwise cool. Why do I have this crummy looking cross dissolve on it though? That's weird. That's an otherwise nice shot. Take a look at that. Oh, it's also very short though. Oh, well, it's long enough. Long enough for consideration. It's a bit noisy. Oh, I got that weird crossfade on there. Cross dissolve. Oh, strange. It's not bad. And not that that couldn't be uploaded, I guess we'd have to see. It's kind of a pretty clip. Takes for Twitch's search to cache your title after a midstream topic change. That I don't know. That's a good one. Alright. Let's see what else we got. Warthogs. Let's take a look at these. This, I believe, is also pretty short. Not too bad. It's a nice clip, but it's not even 5 seconds. Warthogs. Got a close-up, but it's also, I think it's very, very short. A comp. And this is partially graded. Let's see. Look at these creatures, so cool. It's really interesting too to see. Hey Valentino, how are you? Oh, and thank you. Yeah. It's really interesting to look back. I mean, I have so many memories of this trip, but honestly, being there and seeing these animals looking right at us, and just seeing them in their uninterrupted habitats. Again, in this area, in this particular, I guess you could say, wildlife preserve. There is no there's no aiding and abetting of the animals there. So they don't, it is truly the wild, and which is why you see a lot of these animals with injuries and things, because they've been attacked and have successfully escaped or not. So but just to see how they react and how they travel, and craziness. Such cool stuff. Okay, this music is starting to trip me out. We're gonna have to change this. It's gonna drive me a little bonkers. Okay, this is a cool one. Now this is too short, I think. How long is this? It's a few seconds. So this is this was again shot with the 400 millimeter, no extender, of this rhino. Check this out. And that's a close-up of rhino eyes right there. And really, I mean, you see the skin. This was in Kruger National Park, and this is Sabi Sabi. So I've been to Pilanesberg before, which is again I say a fenced-in wildlife area, and this part in Sabi Sabi is not. Right? So, just love South Africa. Oh, so you're from Johannesburg as well? Oh, so cool. So cool. Yeah, we used to go to Johannesburg a lot. It's amazing city. Cape Town as well, and Durban at a time. Yeah, and you have to understand, I'm probably maybe 3 meters away, maybe. I mean, that's probably zoomed out all the, pulled out all the way. And that's zoomed in a bit. With that 400 millimeter lens, we were so close, but the detail it's pretty crazy. Just look at that, the skin there. It's amazing. For 5 years before getting the Ursa this year, it's not exactly a run and gun rig, but the quality of the 1080p compared to my old Canon is outstanding. And that's the thing, I was just having this chat the other day, Stan, too, talking about, right? I mean, because I shot 7D. That was my entry into the DSLR world, and as good as it was, right, seeing 1080 shot on, the AJA Ursa, or even on any of the newer high-end digital cinema cameras, yeah, it's a significant difference, particularly if you're shooting, 422, ProRes or DNX or some flavor thereof of RAW versus, compressed H.264. I've used the HDMI out of the D800, which is good. It's very good, but it's 420. So, you don't really, it doesn't buy you a heck of a lot. If it were 422, different story, but 420, nah. So even for like green screen keying, it's better than H.264, but in After Effects, if you're using something like, what's that? I just forgot the name of that new, it's not new, it's already a couple years old. Refined Soft Matte, and the cleaner, what is it called? Not the edge cleaner. Key cleaner. That's actually designed to work with poorly lit and or compressed footage. I mean, it works more impressively on H.264 footage shooting green screen. So it's like the 420 doesn't really buy you very much. ProRes 422 because of the storage limitations. Yep, smart. Detail is crisp. Pilanesberg, went a few times for a school trip. So lovely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. When I went to Pilanesberg, so that was my very first trip to South Africa 10 years ago or more. This could be my favorite clip of all of these. This one is will absolutely be a stock submission. First of all, the grade. I love the grade. I love the detail. The light. It's a new version of Java. Remind me later. Okay, this is irritating. But yeah, Pilansburg. So I had gone there 10 years ago or more, and I had it was a Canon TX1. Not that anybody would remember that camera per se, but it was one of their earlier, I guess it was technically consumer, maybe leaning towards prosumer. It had the flip out screen that could be flipped back to front. It almost looked like a little square box. It was very small. And it shot, I think it shot 720p video, although very compressed, in AVI, I think, no less. But that's all I had. So there's actually, if you go up to my Flickr page, you'll find there's a couple of stills, and it's like Africa 2006 or 2007 or something. And I think there's only 3. There's like not a wildebeest, a warthog, and maybe a lion sleeping with a bunch of other lions, and one other. And those were all shot with the TX1, as stills. But it was, it was a pretty noisy digital camera. I don't remember maybe it was like 6 megapixel or something, It was okay for the time. So, yeah, these are irritating. Oh, baby rhino. Yeah, sorry, Minecraft. Some of these are, sorry. Rhino butts. Now, the funny thing is, the cameraman in me goes, God, the depth of field on that f400 is just gorgeous, even at f4. There's nothing perverse about that. It's the back of animals. I talked about this on the Adobe stream. When you photograph, you do safari. That's what 90% of your shots are, because the animals turn away. They don't like you being there, so they're not bothered by it, but they don't necessarily want to be seen. So, right now this is a long cut. Oh, this is like 5 minutes. Okay, so this is this scene. This was really unique, and I may have mentioned this before. We were really lucky to find this lioness and her cubs out in a barren field. Problem here is looking at this. Yeah, well, the grade's not bad. It's the highlights are okay. Ooh, just made a aperture adjustment there in camera. Yikes. Okay, well, it lifted the shadows, so better. Oop, now totally clipped in the shadows there, or I should say, there's just no shadow detail. Yeah, that's bad. Look at these little babies. Long story short, it was so unique, and you'll see. Here, I'll just speed this up. You don't have to watch this whole thing. There was a period where is this the shot where she turns her head? Yeah. See, that's a great one right there. See, now there may be others available like that on stock. They're not going to have this exact cut right here. This is great. I will probably regrade this because I don't love the grade that I did. But yawning and turning to camera, lioness. Well, she's actually smiling. Now you'll see in a moment, rhino butt. And I'm not singing Hakuna Matata. Alright, Paulina. I owe you that. I need to work on it. I need to work up a version of it, but you're right. It's appropriate here. But that's a beautiful shot right there. I love that. Even though the framing is not the great. I mean, I was doing it so fast, trying not to miss it. Handheld in the Jeep. Z Finder. I couldn't have done this without a Z Finder. So it's not great, but you never know. And it's fun because I got her to look at the camera. Anyway, moments after this, you'll see here, I'm going to just speed it up. She walks away. She kept looking at me and licking her lips. So I got a lot of these, like licking her chops shots. But you'll see she gets up and she's got like a gimped foot, a gimped leg. And evidently she'd been run out of her pack with and I don't know what happened to the male, but so she was recovering in this barren field in the middle of the sort of desert landscape there, and all the trackers that you work with when you go on these safaris, they know all these animals. I mean, they truly do. And we later learned that, yeah, she didn't make it. She was killed, as were her offspring. Yeah, you can see her back leg there. Look at that. She's limping. She's got a lot of scuffs and cuts. You know, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see, but as they explained, you know, that's what this is. You know, it's really seeing what life is like. This is really, really fascinating. I got another nice shot here. So you'll see I zoom in, and she's like licking her cubs, and I think there's another yawn. Wow, those teeth. Look at that. Yeah, right there. I mean, you know. Thank you, Valentino. It's okay. You know, there's some decent stuff. There's definitely some good stuff in here. There's another one. Oop, you can see it's stabilized there with some weirdness. Needs to be regraded because I crushed the blacks a little too much on here. And there's some weird chroma noise in there too. Okay, here's the clip I was talking about. This is kind of neat. So, and what's cool too, you can see momentarily. Can you see there that the baby has blue eyes? Just that one cub has blue eyes. Life in the jungle, that's right. That's what I love about this little blue-eyed cub. And she comes up. I was following her. She turns, looks at me. Yeah. So that's a totally stockable shot right there. See if there's anything else interesting in here. It's getting to me too. Yeah, it's okay, you know. I mean, it was definitely in my early stages of understanding, and like I said, the black level, it's a little too crushed for my taste. Still legal, but I'd want to see a little more shadow detail in there, but it's not bad. It looks, I'll tell you what, the light itself, the actual white balance of it looks very representative of how it looked that day. It was super bright. No cloud cover, no tree cover, just a very barren, wide open part of the bush. So, and then I think she's just sitting here. Yeah, jumping into Mama's lap. I mean, there's good moments in here. Some of it is a little, you know, some of it's a little shaky, but that's nice. I mean, this is all legit usable right here. I was mainly concerned about getting the paws, you know, and this piece, this little bit right here is actually framed. I'm okay with that, you know, 'cause she's in there. Oh, that little blue-eyed cub. Excuse me. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Let's. You know what? We'll give one more of these a try. Some of these are a little too crazy and ambient for my taste right now. There you go. Okay. Nice. Okay, this is a 4-second shot, so it's too short, which is a pity. But Now, see, I could, you know, if you go on the stock site, there's plenty of material that I've seen that's, you know, time remapped and slow mo. So that's legit, you know. And if I wanted to, I'm even curious right now. Let's do it. Let's go to time remapping speed. I want to use optical flow. And let's just make this, like I said, I'll make it 501. Just to slow it down enough, which was really only a few frames anyway. Let's see. I mean, it should have like no noticeable difference. Yeah, nothing, not noticeable at all. So I could probably, let's see what happens if I make it. That's a 10% stretch. I generally don't like to go any more than around 20. So let's see if we make it an even 6 seconds. So that's a 25% stretch. Let's see, and you know what? Let's render it. Optical flow, by the way, you can absolutely do it with sans rendering, but I want to see it full quality. No skippies. So just do a quick render on this. And this is already from a ProRes master, so it'll be pretty representative. So Sabi would be okay with this on Adobe stock. Oh yeah, of course. Absolutely. Now, if there was a sign that said Sabi Sabi, different story. That I wouldn't be able to show. But the animals in these habitats, yeah, absolutely no problem. 100%. I actually found a few. I was looking last night and I saw a couple of clips. Having been there twice, I know there were a couple roads that looked very familiar. So I could be wrong, but they looked familiar to me. All right, now that wasn't bad. Actually, looks like it was getting a little bit of artifact, maybe. It actually looks pretty good. Let's do this. No, what? Hold on, let me make sure I've got. Oh, sorry, and I'm right in your frame right there. You can't really see the feet. It's a bit of a soft focus because, you know, the leopard walks. I mean, again, I'm absolutely at f2.8 here. Probably shooting 2500 ISO. It's total darkness with a single point light. So maybe I was even at f4, but the soft focus, it's okay because focus is pulled right there, nice and sharp. And then and you can see it even in the whiskers, and then as she comes a little closer, it gets a bit softer, but that's okay because you can actually see that my focal point was still somewhere right about here. So that's all right. Again, you know, doesn't hurt to submit it. All they can say is no thanks. You know. And with that optical flow, that actually looks pretty good. So I might use that. Oh, nice, Valentino. Ah, very cool. UK 4K UHD bokeh fireworks video. Oh, sweet. I will have to check out the other stuff. How long did it take for them to approve it, Valentino? Because I just submitted stuff, you know, 2 hours ago. So I don't anticipate anything today. But that's super cool. Hey, Admiral Shane. Started about, loosely about 30 minutes ago, and I'm just going through, and I submitted a bunch of things to Adobe Stock today, and we're just kind of going through other submissions. So all the stuff that I worked on a week or two ago, that was all the machines and all the metal workings and everything else. I submitted all that to Adobe Stock today. But yeah, Valentino, I'm curious if you can tell me how long it took for the approval. So let's see. So this is a roughly 35-second clip. Oh, here, let me clear that into and out. And I just love this. This is... Now this too, this is, you know, it was so ooh, look at that. You know, I could probably clip this from about there and maybe, although that's pretty good, I would say I could even use the sort of camera lens blur in After Effects to really blur this out. Although if you look back here, it's kind of nice because you can see again as I'm pulling focus, I've actually got a lot of nice detail kind of on the horizon here. Comes into focus, I'm holding it, pulling back. Again, no follow focus, so it's one hand trying to do it. She marks her territory. You know, this was hard to do. This was super hard to do, and it's not, you know, this isn't the greatest, but I don't know. It's pretty cool. Maybe it could be used for something. It's just sitting here doing nothing. I love that. And that was where I talked about, you know, you can hear the tracker in the front of the Jeep saying, you know, no sudden movements from the back. As in, if you move too fast or make sounds you shouldn't, you will get eaten. Because that leopard was this close to me. Yeah. 3 days. Okay, cool. Nice. Oh, that would have been sweet, Valentina, if it was just a few hours. That would have been even better. The metal clips are very cool. Oh yeah, Admiral Shane. Yeah, they turned out real nice, and I didn't change all the selects that I made. There were a few that I wound up not using because they fell below the 5-second requirement. But basically, all the ones that we selected on stream, I uploaded those. I want to reach out and pet her. Probably only have stumps left though. Yes. Yeah, sadly, yes. You know, don't do that. So beautiful. Oh, wait, let's look at these giraffes. I think there were a couple of nice giraffe clips. Oh, what's that? And the reason I'm reviewing these here is just to see if I have to, because I have to strip out the audio on most of these. I left it in there, so. Now they're already ProRes, I think these are ProRes 422 HQ, so in theory I can re-export to ProRes again, just muting the audio track, and without any noticeable, real noticeable degradation. It's a pity they're not 444, but that's okay. Still shouldn't matter. Still greater than 8-bit. So these are okay. I mean, they're all warp stabilized. There's some weird shakiness. I like that you can see all the flies around her face, but there's a lot of warp stabilizer going on here, so I don't know. And you can see I think I used the no motion variation of warp here because it actually looks like the background's moving and she's kind of it almost looks like green screened in. It's real, it's just the settings of the stabilizer that I used. So I mean, that's kind of nice. There's a lot of artifacts though on some of these. You can see the I was going to say damage, but the this giraffe's been in some battle. You can see it. Not so much, I wouldn't say generation loss as opposed to there's a clear color difference. Exporting 422 versus HQ. I only use HQ, and you can see it real easily if you do like a screen capture. I don't know if you use ScreenFlow or iShowU or anything like that. But if you export a screen capture, and it's a good idea, use something like Premiere that has kind of this dark gray interface, almost black, maybe even make it as black as you can go. Export it to 422, export it to 422 HQ. You will see the 422, it has, the color is different. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't go down from 422 HQ to 422. Keep it consistent. And like I said, I don't, and these are coming from, these are transcoded from H.264 QuickTimes anyway. I did that on ingest, converting everything to ProRes. And this is all, again, pre-Lumetri and everything, but I just did it to keep everything consistent. So 422 HQ to 422 HQ, there really shouldn't be any great noticeable difference, certainly for me. But yeah, you don't want to do HQ down to 422 because there will be a noticeable color difference. The alternative on PC, yeah, I know now. You may have seen now we are committing to supporting ProRes and GoPro Cineform without the QuickTime wrapper, as well as some of the flavors of DNX and such, and lifting those dependencies on the Windows side. I don't know exactly when that's coming, but we will be doing that. As far as an intermediate codec goes on Windows, you could use the native DNX HD, which is MXF based, and those flavor rights are the non-QuickTime wrapped version. And I don't know that Fotolia allows you, Adobe Stock allows you to upload those based on their spec because it doesn't list those codecs in there. The other, if I had to just choose an intermediate codec to work in, to transcode to on Windows that wasn't QuickTime based, if I didn't choose DNX HD, DNX HR, then I would probably go with just standard MXF OP1A. And that would probably pretty much do it. When your camera captures H.264 and you transcode to ProRes, are you uncompressing the H.264 or just rewrapping it in ProRes for the higher bit depth color space? Yeah, so this is a question we always used to get. So the thing is, unlike Avid and FCP, that required your footage, in other words, and you may remember this even from FCP7, you had to convert into ProRes to be working in that greater than 8-bit domain. Premiere Pro does not work like that. We are always working in 32-bit float, 444 all the time. So when you drop DSLR in here, native right off the Canon or Nikon or whatever, even though it's 8-bit footage, you already have available to you this latitude, this ceiling, not ceiling, latitude. You already have the free space to grade without theoretical further degradation to that 8-bit content. You can't recreate what was already lost at the sensor. So it's not like you suddenly get true 10-bit or 12-bit. No, it was captured 8. So converting to ProRes doesn't do anything different than just dropping the file in here and adding color correction. There's no difference. In the other applications, you were forced to do that. Now, hey, G-Sker, what's up? So, yes, Cineform or DNX HD would be an alternative. So yeah, so again, that's just the way Premiere Pro works, and that's been kind of unique to us for some time. In fact, you can find on Vimeo, I've got a video on there. It's old. It's from the CS 5.5 days, where we were really trying to promote this idea because people didn't understand oh, how come I don't need to transcode? That's when we really started talking about our native capabilities. So similarly, you can even have true 12-bit, 10-bit content living beside 8-bit content in the timeline. You're still working in this 32-bit container. You still have all the latitude available to you for grading. You're not clamped down at 8-bit. And you can export into something like ProRes and, it'll or GoPro Cineform at 12-bit, and it'll retain all the data that's there, and certainly the footage that can handle that natively has the capabilities of taking advantage of higher dynamic range. You'll see that it will respect that, it'll retain that. So did that make sense? So yeah, so when you're transcoding H.264 to ProRes, I mean, yes, you're putting it in this 10-bit container, but you're not restoring anything that was lost at the sensor, right? It's just the file format itself now has this greater bit depth, but ultimately when you're grading it or working on it in Premiere, we're always in 444 32-bit float anyway. And that's why it's very important, if you're working with Premiere and After Effects simultaneously, that you set After Effects to either 16 or 32-bit if you've got dynamically linked comps. Because if you mix, so After Effects by default is 8-bit. So if you've got an 8-bit After Effects comp, you drop it into a Premiere timeline, you're doing all this stuff with all 32-bit effects, and you render, because you've got that 8-bit 8-bit dynamic link from After Effects, it's going to render everything down to 8. Similarly, if you've got a mixture of 32-bit effects and 8-bit effects, and not all of the effects in Premiere are 32-bit. That's why we have this here to show you what is 32-bit. And it's, I think I can say probably it's a good portion, if not most of them, but it's not all, okay? So, there are some effects in here that are still 8-bit. And as such, you could have Red Dragon in here, but if you take one of these 8-bit effects and drag it on there, it's going to render it out at 8-bit. So you want to be careful to not mix and match 32-bit and 8-bit effects. And you want to also be careful, and the best way that you would notice this, if you use After Effects for motion graphics lower thirds, and you're dragging in timelines, dynamically linked timelines or sequences, compositions. If you render them out, you notice that there's banding and stuff. That's telling you that After Effects is probably still natively in 8-bit. Crank it up to 16. You don't even have to go to 32. 16 is fine. Re-render, and you'll see that banding will go away. Particularly if you've got something like a vignette or a fade to black, you'll really see that banding if it's in 8-bit. Convert it, switch it to 16. You don't have to do anything other than just that. Re-render out of Media Encoder, and it'll look fine. All right. All right. So that makes sense, Admiral Shane? Gotcha. Okay, cool. You think that pic of me in Stalin's bunker should be my weight screen? Yes. He looks epic in that suit. CBR, you can post a pic of that if you like. So Valentino, you're using the H.265 export. Very nice. Yes. No, I was, you know what? I was doing it so I could hear the level of Fred's music, and it wound up sticking. I don't want to wear them at all, actually. That's why I tied my hair back, because it was so hot. Here, I'm going to put on my regular playlist, because that one was interesting, but maybe a little too weird. All right, so we'll just drop this back down here. What? Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I was just trying to test the levels to make sure that my voice is not too quiet. Okay. All right, so, well now, I want to go back to these masters. Now I've got two separate folders of Sabi master footage. Yep, Admiral Shane, same principle as the 16-bit image workflow. Yep, exactly. Yes. Sure thing. Okay, so let's see. Gotta remember where I moved some of those things. Got Sabi Masters, and I have... I think this actually might be everything. Let me see. Okay, so this, you can see, this is all super flat. This was all shot with the D4. With a pre-release of the D4. It hadn't even, it wasn't even out yet. And you can see, so all of these shots of this is that lion, I think. Oh no, this is a different one. You can see because it's so tight. And I was just like waiting for him to open his eyes, do something. It was a lot of waiting. And like nothing happened for a very long time. And a lot of these are pretty short. Some longer than others because I thought something was going to happen. Let's see here. Ooh, CineSpace. Maybe we back that off. CineSpace at 40. Faded film in there. Maybe you can just warm this up a little bit more. Oh, too shaky. All right, forget this clip. But you see, he's like barely opening his eyes. I mean, that's nothing. And then this went on for forever. But you can just see, just very quickly, like side by side, flat, same clip, graded. You know? Like this actually came from that. It doesn't even look like there's enough color info in here to do anything, you know? But that's, yeah, that's cool. Not an exciting shot, but otherwise fine. Probably wasn't IYT. I've been user third-party app to export to WMV. Okay. QT. Yep. Apple said that Win System since it had native H264 AC playback ability. Provide WMV files and just provide H264 H265. Well, I can't really speak for H265. That's why I was. It's cool to hear that Valentino's using it. You know, I don't know of too many other providers who are yet. I mean, it's on. You know, it's on task to be the next H2. So H264, I would say yes. I know, and it's funny you mentioned WMV, because having just come from NAB, I talked to several broadcasters who still really swear by WMV export. So it's obviously still out there and still used quite a bit, but I would probably choose a standard H264 MP4. Hey, Valkyro, how are you doing? By the way, I did get your, Valkyro, I got your Whisper, so I will ping you back later today, and thanks for some of that info. Very interesting situation you ran into there. Okay. Tell Jason his biggest fan in Oslo misses his hair. Reply to my FB post that you're online. Biggest fan in Oslo. I don't want to guess incorrectly. Yes, Valentino, I am. So I'm doing both flat and graded. And again, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of flat anything on the Fotolia site, or rather on Adobe stock. And as I was saying on the stream, and I even talked. Oh, this is so shaky. It's a pity because, this is a handheld of that 400 millimeter. Gosh, too bad because it's otherwise good, but I'm all over the place. I just couldn't get stable. I was holding it too long. I had talked to them about it and to some of the stock team, and they didn't really have They didn't have an answer for me per se, but I haven't seen, I don't think I've seen any flat stuff on there. And as I was saying the other day, you know, for photos, it makes sense that you'd want, you know, for stock photography, yes, it should be composed right, it should be color corrected properly, and should be able to just drop into a flyer, and, you know, you could tweak as necessary, adjust a bit of contrast, maybe temperature a bit, but that's probably all you need to do for a photo. It's more likely easier to tweak the photo than if you've got a video with a lot of color baked in, especially the way that we grade stuff today. It just seems to me, if I'm a stock user, I want it flat so that I can more easily match it to what I'm working on, you know. Now, if it's just, CBR was saying earlier, if it's just like a social media post and you just need some stock footage and you're going to throw some text over it, and that's the only clip in the footage, it doesn't, yeah, you want it graded. You're not going to distribute something that looks like this. So that makes sense. But I think that's that. But that's why I'm putting both up there. So we'll see what happens. And I'll let you know. And I'll let you know if they don't take the flat ones, I will absolutely be calling them directly, because my argument would be, well, tell me why. So I'm curious. Oh, Pelser. Of course. Of course. You can tell him I miss his beard. Although maybe he's grown it back now. This is a cool shot. I don't know why you'd use this, but it's just cool as it is. No, it's interesting. This very shot here, and I don't have video of it because I only took stills, so you can actually see. So there's a guy driving, and there's a guy strapped to the front of this open Jeep. He is the tracker. So when we see a lion or a rhino or whatever, he is that close to that lion or rhino. And he's just strapped in, and he's got a gun, and there's a gun on the front of the Jeep as well. For just in case, not obviously to use actively. So we're going, at a pretty rapid pace here. And as we're driving through at night in total darkness with just 2-point lights, he spies, like right there, but a little further up the road, a chameleon, which you can also find, I believe, on my Flickr page. And I believe there's also a Behance project. I know it's in Behance as well. But he saw a lizard, this big, sitting on a leaf while going, 70, 80 kilometers an hour down a road in total darkness. That's the incredible precision and brilliance of these trackers. I mean, just amazing. Super, super amazing. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Yes, please do. Please tell him I miss his beard, and I miss all of him. You can tell him that, too. All of him. All right. So this is cool. So, okay, so of these last graded ones, I think there's plenty to do there, but unfortunately it looks like I'm going to have to do a lot of manual work. So let me just look at the rest of these. Let's see what else we've got. What's this? Ducks. Okay. Not interesting. Oh, and here you can actually see, here, look at this. So here's the graded giraffe here. And here's the same clip. Let's see if I can get this too. Again, kind of a side-by-side of before and after. Exactly. Is this even the same thing? It's close. This might be part of another clip. But you get the idea. So this way I can, also use these as a reference guide to see how far I pushed it before. This is nice. It's very vibrant. The thing I've noticed too, and you probably have as well, that the stuff that's on stock is very, very vibrant. As it should be. Most stock imagery is. Again, video, I think you want a little more flexibility there. But this is kind of a good starter. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, Valentino, that is so cool. So, so cool. Love hearing that. Alright. Let me, let's see what's going on. Let's get back to this. There's all of the, warthogs. Yeah, see, like this here, this is this Earth Lodge. I wouldn't be able to use, not that that's great anyway, but I wouldn't be able to use that. This is one of those shots that you take and you go, what was I thinking? It's not centered. I don't exactly know what I was doing with this. And it took me a while, long after I'd shot it, to realize why I shot it in the first place. Did you happen to catch it? It went by very quickly. So there's 3 frogs sitting on this thing here. Check it out. There's one there. Whoops. Again, motion blur. There's one right there. And there's another little dude right there. So, you know, I had a purpose, but unfortunately the shot didn't really, it didn't turn out. It's not very good. Pity. That could have been nice. Alright. That's cool. I'll dig that. Okay. Alright, so that's all this. I'm just looking here. I think I'm missing a card. Missing some animals. Unless it's all in this one, but I swore I had more than this. This is like wild dog, but again, just kind of sitting. I was waiting for him to do something. Let's see. So this is 503. It's a beautiful shot. Great sharpness. Shaky, unfortunately. Blew it if I just stood still, but lens was just too heavy. But it's a nice shot. Good focus. You know, you can see like this twig right here. Same depth away as like, you know, his eye and the nose, so you can really kind of whereas this one here in front of it, a little more blurry. It's great, but I blew it because, and you're getting some natural sort of light over here in the corner, but I don't think this is going to stabilize very well at all. Could try. Didn't see too many wild dogs while I was out there. I was told there were a lot, but we didn't see many. There's another one. I think this one is also just sitting in a field. Walking away. Hey, Paulina. All right, have a great afternoon. Thank you. Yeah, if I only stood still. Yes, camouflaged beyond use. Yeah. All right, let's see if that fixed it at all. Almost. See, problem is, one, it cropped too much. I had to do too much cropping, unfortunately. I have to get this down to quarter res. And you can see those little, like, doubling artifacts. So, okay. I mean, it's not a brilliant shot anyway. Fun to see what some of these LUTs might do to it, but... Retro brown. Stan, you saw my reply about the my favorite LUTs. We have a shared favorite in some of those Kodak ones. I use those all the time. Those are definitely my go-tos. Settings and stabilizer. Yeah, sure. While I'm at it here, this is not a great example file because it did too much, but yes, it'll illustrate the differences here. So the main thing is that the default is to stabilize, crop, and auto scale, because the nature of how stabilization works, you can imagine, as it's trying to reframe the camera position, if you didn't automatically sort of crop and reframe, and if you pay attention to the frame around the program monitor, you'll actually see letterboxing and pillar boxing as it's trying to stabilize the image, right? So that's why, by default, it automatically rescales so that you no longer see letterbox, pillar box, and crops if necessary, again, based on how it has to stabilize the movement of the camera. So, you know, sometimes stabilize and crop is enough. Sometimes stabilize only. Seldom do you ever get away with using that unless you were just really super still and you're just trying to kind of smooth, and that's really what this is trying to do, smoothing the motion a little bit more. Now this, let me see if I can find a better one here, because remember I was talking just a minute ago about the giraffes and it looked like I had the no motion option selected. So these, again, you can see the differences here now, like synthesize edges and stabilize. Now again, you probably have to do, you got to do a little more tweaking on this because it's going to try and do just that. Oops. Whoa, what happened here? That is not what I'm seeing. GPU acceleration. Hold on, why am I seeing that? There we go. What's happening? It's all black. Let's go back. Okay. See if it comes back. Okay. It's not coming back for some reason. There we go. Very slow. So synthesize edges, same kind of problem. It's going to try and do its own kind of version of a crop rescale without introducing as much crop and rescale. I've never really gotten this option to work for me. So that's why this is the default. Now, as I said, sometimes you just do stabilize and crop because maybe you'll do the scaling yourself, you know. And this is the result that you get with just stabilize and crop, okay? Which, in and of itself, isn't bad. Kind of looks sort of ultra widescreen. There's one that looks like a wave rippling. Well, now so the wave rippling, and this is I was talking about that. You can see that in some of this footage. That's purely an artifact of trying to stabilize the motion. So that will happen. And you can see some of it on here. Here, let me put this back, and I'll render this for you, because that's exactly what I was talking about. And that's unfortunately a common artifact of any stabilizing algorithm, is that you often will end up, or potentially end up, with these kind of ripply looking artifacts. And you can see it right there, where it almost looks like, let me get this off for a second, this will play better. You can see right there where it almost looks like if you had like there's a vibration, like it just vibrates quickly. That's it trying to stabilize those frames, which were probably very out of whack. So that unfortunately is something which, based on the motion of the camera, you can encounter. And sometimes it smooths it enough where you don't see any of that. Increasing smoothness can sometimes alleviate some of the potential artifacting that you see there. Let's just try and do another render on this, see if that made it better. Yeah, exactly. You like stabilize and crop, that way you can deliver 1080, you can upscale to 4K and have extra material. Exactly. Yep. Yes, indeed. So here, that yeah, there's like 1, 2, 3. There's 3 instances where I'm seeing that. And, you know, I'm one of these people who I like to sort of do extremes, because sometimes going the other way actually less smoothing makes it work better. Let's see. But you've got the right idea. If you're going to be doing the upscale anyway, then right, just do the stabilize and crop, because then you've got more room to work with anyway. Yeah, see, now it's interesting, right? So I dropped it to 20%. It's basically, if you think of the smoothness as almost like a threshold for stabilizing the motion or removing more of the handheld jerkiness, the lower the threshold, it's going to allow a little bit more of that handheldness to come through. And because it's not trying to smooth it as much, you get less of that jitteriness, but it's still there. Like it wouldn't be ideal for this clip. Now, where it the last option though, here, let me see if I can just find one of those giraffe clips. Didn't I pull one in here? Yeah. So let's go back to this. Smooth motion versus no motion. This is where you can get very interesting and very differing results at times, in a good way. And it just depends, you know, how it was shot. And let's see if I can find that clip. Here we go. Okay. So I think it's this one, walking along. Yeah. Okay. So let's bring this down here. See if I can show you a little bit of this. Okay. So this is, for handheld, you know, live kind of panning while moving, this is pretty good. Now, if I drag the stabilizer on here, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll start with the default, which is going to be to stabilize, crop, auto scale, and smooth motion. You'll see what it looks like. And what I was saying before is, so the smooth motion is going to make it so that everything just, my panning and everything just seems very dolly-like. But if you choose no motion, then what it does is it effectively makes it so that the foreground image almost looks like it's locked down, and the background is kind of, you'll see. Give it a second here. And again, this can look, sometimes that is exactly what you want. Other times it produces a sort of strange artifact. Have I ever bought a LUT? Yes, Minecraft. Actually, yes, I have. So back when we first started, when we introduced speed grade years ago, I went to, I think it was the Technicolor site. You could get a few free Technicolor LUTs, and then they led you to other places where you could purchase some kind of standard stock, film stock LUTs. So yeah, that was probably 5 years ago, or approximately somewhere around there. Maybe it was just before speed grade. When did we introduce the import 32-bit color LUT in After Effects? CS6 maybe? So maybe it was around that time. Gonna stick your neck out and say giraffes are scary. They're big. Giraffes are big. Big creatures. Often surrounded by a lot of flies. Okay. So you can see right there that, and again, this is where the methods will change too, and you just have to audition them to see. See how the background's getting very, it looks very bendy and warpy on here. So I was just doing this with some of that metal footage. I didn't use subspace warp on a lot of it. I actually wound up doing perspective, and it's just going to depend on how it was shot. You know, 9 times out of 10, subspace and the defaults really do it. But let me just render this so we can actually watch this full screen. I'm doing pretty well, Finch. Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, Stan, I'm with you, man. I think I've opened SpeedGrade maybe twice since Lumetri. Okay, so here is the beginning of this clip, stabilized with the defaults. Now, these first couple seconds, aside from the cropping, and you can see now the background is getting a bit warpy, but, and his face did there too a little bit. But up until, you know, right about there before we lose the ears, like, that's legit. This clip is still in frame. I'm still moving the motion. It looks very good. There's no weirdness in the motion. Now, if we go on to, if we change the result to no motion, see, this one isn't, it's not good. And this is the thing. Depending upon how it was shot, because there is some drastic movement here, yeah, it's not going to work on this clip. Okay. Yeah. Let's just see if you're going to get any result here at all. No. It didn't like the zooming in here. Let me see if I can find another one that would be better. Oh, no, it was D4, not those. You know, I talked about this before. You can also, you know, cut the clip or trim it to avoid having any, you know, if there's too many, like for instance, you start shooting, but you know, you turn the camera on and then you move the camera into frame, and then you're shooting and you're pretty steady, but you've got kind of human shake, and then you, before you stop, you kind of bring the camera down to stop it. If you leave all that start, shaky, you know, crazy movement of camera, still, crazy movement of camera, stop. If you leave that stuff in the beginning and end, it really throws the stabilizer off. It doesn't do as good of a job. So sometimes it's as simple as just cutting out, you know, some of that extra movement, and it'll give you a better result. Now this little zoom right here, that shouldn't throw things too far off. So let me try this. This is also shorter, so it should process faster. Let's see if we can do a no motion on this one. This might work. That zoom is going to throw things off a little bit. I think I've used SpeedGrade on the stream once, Admiral Shane, long time ago. But I haven't really, as Stan said, since Lumetri, I just don't need to go in there as much anymore. Now, again, I'm also not doing, you know, complex secondary masking and stuff like that. You know, if I needed to do that, that's where I would do it. Having said that, of course, this next version of Premiere has HSL secondaries, so I really don't see myself going there at all. All right. So now again, as far as the stabilization goes, beautiful, brilliant, not warpy. It looks like I was actually on some kind of, you know, I always say the Kessler crane or something. It's really nice. Now, I am getting a couple of those slightly jittery things in there. Oh, that's not it. That was just processing slowing down. Here, let's render this again. Hear all these fans working overtime. That looks nice to me. Let's see, a little right there, a little jitter right there. But overall, pretty good, okay? So that's with all default settings. Now let's see if it'll let me do no motion on this one. Okay. So now, do you see what's happened here? So it has completely locked off the shot. And on that clip, so this is again one of these times, so look at that. Now you lose the kind of groovy motion that I had before, but now it looks like it was on a tripod the whole time. It just locks down the motion. So sometimes this is really what you want. Now it also seems to be over accentuating a bit of the those vibrations.
That was nice. I never say that.
Kind of, yeah. I'm seeing a little bit more of those.
All
All right.
Cool tip.
But you can very clearly see the difference, right? So here's no motion, stabilized. Here's smoothing the motion, stabilized. Which again, just it retains the movement, but just if you imagine, it's almost as if it's Beziering. You know, if your live human motion was plotted on a graph, you know, and we're very linear, right? Just like straight lines bumping into each other. It's basically Beziering that motion, so it's nice and smooth. That's it, you know. And if you got too out of whack, then it crops and scales accordingly, so that you don't end up with. And this is, you know, again, you can probably see it very nicely on here. There wasn't too much motion, but you can see little letterboxing, little pillar boxing going on there. In the zoom especially, look at how much it had to do here. Right? See that all along the edge? Trying to stabilize while I was doing that zoom, we lost a lot of our frame. So as Admiral Shane was saying, though, if you upscale this to 4K, though, and just do stabilize and crop, you know, now, even though you've got this frame like this, though, insert it in a 4K comp, now you've got a little more room to move, and you can be a little more stylistic with it. So, pretty cool. Never have privacy. Bell John Whipple. Nice. All right. Ice Ghost. Hey, Dave told me to stop by and say hello, so, Oh, hey, Ice Ghost. Nice to see you. King Quinn, what's up? All right. Yeah, a lot of people here all of a sudden. Very nice. Very cool. Hey, boy fruit. All right. So did that answer some of the questions there with regard to the tasty, a drive-by fruiting? Yes. Did that answer the questions with regard to warp? Did we get? I think we got to all the options there, if I'm not mistaken. So now this clip, I think, do I have anything on this? No, I don't. Now this is also handheld, but like, to me, this doesn't need anything else. This is pretty good as it is. I didn't time remap this, did I? I did. Okay, so it's down. I was gonna say that eating is slow. Okay, so time remap 30% in lieu of stabilization. I remember when we did this on the stream. Now I'm remembering. Cool. Premiere stabilization so much better than FCPs. Yeah, I agree. Now, you know, it's like anything. I mean, you know, I think there's examples where one can work better than the other. And ours has had several revisions since its inception. In fact, you'll see in After Effects, it's now called Warp Stabilizer VFX. A little more power under the hood, a little less cropping when stabilizing. So, and the Premiere one too. But so it's been revamped a time or two since it was originally introduced. Great. All right, hey Shane, I'm glad that helped. Cool. All right. So yeah, so all of these, like these little baby elephant clips, a little shake right there. That's so irritating. These are real nice. Very good. And this is also pre-graded, so you can imagine here, if we just took, here, let's see if I grab one of these. And now maybe try one of these film stock emulations. Let's do a little more contrast on that. saturation. Oh, that's high. Increase it even more. Now the slightest bit of sharpening. I almost never use this sharpen, and it's very good. I really like this sharpen. That's contained here. Kind of on the edge there. The black level may need to lift that a bit. We're also at 100% intensity on this, so we can decrease that a bit. And additionally, if we wanted to say
Codebase coming to you live from the desert, Jason Levine
pump
here
up
with Mr.
or
Fuzzy
punch
Island.
out
Say hi, Fuzzy.
Hey, Vicky, how's it going? Looking forward
some
to
of
being
that
on stage with Jason right now, and because he wasn't on the last
plant
one,
life,
like
I'm gonna go right to it. Pop some of this out. A little bit more. I'll bring this back down to quarter. It's slowing down a little for me now. There we go. Fun baby elephant. So this is totally stockable. The elephanty giraffe bit. What part of Africa were you in when you took all these shots? This may sound weird, but I'm kind of a geographer. I'd have to open a map. I can just explore. Yes. So this is it's in South Africa in an area called Sabi Sabi, which is part of Kruger National Park, and I believe the Sabi Sabi part is sort of the northwestern ridge of Kruger National Park, and this is one of the few areas where they have these animal preserves that is not, it's not enclosed in any way, so it's totally free range, and it is also, they don't offer any assistance to these animals, so things exist and go on as they do in the wild, and that's how it goes. Which is very different from some of the other parks I've been to, like there's one in Pilanesberg we were talking about earlier, where it is absolutely a human-assisted type situation where we were there and we saw them drive in, it was like a water buck, or maybe it was a giraffe. Not a giraffe. Stripes, black and white, zebra. And with it, dropped the zebra in, and moments later we saw some other creatures like go after it and capture it, then eat it. They don't do that here. So the Sabi Sabi song is the actual name of where I was. Yes. In fact, when I first did it and first put it out, two things. One, of course, I was tweeting to Sabi Sabi saying, "Hey, it was so amazing. The experience is so amazing." I wrote a song about it. It goes something like this. So yes, it was directly about that, and that's also why I say the lyric. There's a word in the lyric. When it's time to leave, Sabi, there's no time to grieve, Sabi. You'll come back and see, Sabi. We greet you again, Sani Bonani, which is Zulu for like welcome back, or I think it's welcome, some kind of welcome. So, Sani Bonani. So, yes, it was directly related. And I got some nice retweets from Sabi Sabi as well. Very cool. So, yeah, it's actually the place. Minecraft. Am I a vegetarian? I am not. I go through periods of, meatlessness. But I am not a vegetarian. All right. Well, friends, where they like to move it. It's bizarre. I just actually watched that movie not long ago, and it still holds up. It's a good one. Some animated movies. Oh, this is funny. I don't even remember this. This is some. You can't tell. But, this is the width of a Jeep tire, which is quite wide, and this was the paw print of some creature that had just walked through there, which was almost the entire width of the Jeep tires. So, That's what I was going for there. It didn't quite translate, but I remember taking it. Cool. All right. So I think it's just gone about 4 p.m. my time. So thank you for joining me and helping me go through all this stuff and selecting clips. I'll let you know now. I'll be back on tomorrow. I don't know exactly the time. I may try for the same time. I got a little delayed today because of outside interference. There were leaf blowers and all kinds of things happening. And as a result, it would have just been too noisy for me to stream. But so I'll try for around 12:30, 1:30 PST tomorrow. Again, and I'll be on every day this week on my channel at some point in the day. So I will keep you posted on that, and I'll let you know as soon as I hear back from Adobe Stock when my stuff is posted. This is one of my favorite all-time shots. This series of the leopard in the bushes. This was really quite a find, and as mentioned, what was so unique about this leopard was that it had some corneal damage, which you can see in some of the other clips, not this particular one where it's kind of silhouetted, but making it look kind of, yellow eye, blue eye, but in fact it was damage. Initially I thought it was like a cataract or something, and it was great because on Behance, some veterinary doctor saw my image and actually commented, because I had thought it was like a cataract or something. And he commented, no, it's actually corneal damage. It's because of this. But I couldn't have known that if the image that you had shot wasn't as detailed as it was. So it's kind of a neat comment. Oh, Valkyro. Oh, it's 2 a.m. there. Oh, hey. Wow, thanks. I appreciate you staying up with me. Harry shoved him back in the shuttle in Armageddon if I saw one of the animals get eaten. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something, all joking aside, it is heartbreaking. And, as I said, when I heard the story of this family here that, didn't make it, right? I mean, they were ultimately thrust out of their pack, and the mother and her offspring were killed. Yeah, that was sad. I mean, it's horrible and horrifying, but that is truly survival of the fittest, and that's what happens. And in fact, and there's a better shot of it with the point light on it, so you can actually see the eye there. It's one of these other lions. It's here. It's the one that was shot in daylight. So we saw a whole bunch of lions, but there was on the different days, and I can only tell by the lighting. It's not these. Right? It's not these. It's the other one. Hold on. I can tell by the lighting, except when I can't. Damn it. Who's these? So this one, I don't know if I ever got any good shots of this lion. I know this is not the same, not quite the same beast. This one had all kinds of really bad looking cuts and scrapes and things on his body. And we saw him sitting. Let's see, where's this? Oh, okay, this is just me getting artistic with depth of field, twigs. And this is also that 400 millimeter lens. But this lion, I mean, and we asked the guide and the tracker, and they said, oh, there's been like a, there's been some disturbance in the pack, disturbance in the force. No, there was another male roamed in and tried to tried to take over, and fighting ensued, and basically this lion here was injured and they told us was probably so tired. They're not afraid of the jeeps. You're in these jeeps that are noisy, that they have no fear of that. They don't fear humans per se. When you're in the jeep, you're all sort of one self-contained thing. So that the sound of that and the driving sounds and even the probably the subtle sounds of talking doesn't faze them. It's if you start flailing or making sudden movements and things that are not common to when that jeep is there, that's when they get a little freaked. So that's why all the camera clicking and everything doesn't throw them off. But
Yeah, hoping to see you.
I think this was like the best shot I got. You can see almost see some of its ribs peeking through there. It's very skinny. But in any case, he was saying that this lion was injured, and that's why he was laying down like that, and didn't move really the whole time we were there. So anyway, there's more rhino. Probably more rhino butt. Yep, there. The rhino butt. Now exclusively on Adobe stock. All right. Right. It's a tough life for the Lions. Hey, Valentino. Thank you for sticking around. And it moves us. Circle of Life, yes. Hey, thank you, Shane. Thank you. Is there any talk of engineering maybe one day making Encore standalone? Yeah, no, I know. Still gets asked. I wish I had an answer for you there. It's certainly been brought up. It's certainly been discussed. I wish I had a good answer for you. One of the reasons I've heard that it hasn't been thus far is that because of a quote of Encore, whatever needed to be changed to kind of bring it up to the CC installer state it would have meant sacrificing other newer things in Premiere and After Effects. So it hasn't happened as of yet. I hope we get to see that happen, only because I know people are still burning Blu-rays and DVDs and would like it standalone, and the experience of having to download it now through the group installer, the Premiere Pro Family installer it's not fun. So I hear you there. Sorry, I wish I had a better answer. And I'm sorry, I'm just reading Oriole Vertigo's Look at That Glorious Booty. So so Valkyro, that's the 400 millimeter with the 2x extender. So yes, effectively at 800. And this shot, oh, this is so cool. I was hoping I could find that there, because that's another one where, like, the grading on this one, love it. Let me see if I can find it. I swear that was in here. Yeah, this must be it. There we go. Okay. So, just a sort of side-by-side comparison there. Let's see. You guys watch Uncle Grandpa? Looks like giant realistic flying tiger right there. I mean, if it were rainbow colored. Let's try to match frames here. But just you can see in the pre-graded, graded, flat and, by design, kind of lifeless looking here. Soft. And on the graded one, you've just got like sharpness and detail and just really beautiful saturation. I mean, there's just so much color coming off of these leaves, and in the shadows, there's so much color and warmth. It's just great. Really pleased with how that one turned out. The leopard mark. Yes, that leopard was marking her territory. She's looking at you, Finch, right there. She's going, "This is mine." So, anyway. Mechagodzilla is on El Rey right now. Hey, Stan. I dig, my friend. Well, listen, everybody. I really appreciate everyone coming in. It's great to see you, and thank you for those of you who just stopped in too. It's been another great stream. As mentioned, I will be streaming. Forgive me here. I'm trying to get to my the viewer list in here. I'll be streaming every day this week on my channel. I'm not on the Adobe channel this week anymore, but we'll be back on Monday. So to all of you here, if I can see your names. There we go. So, Admiral Shane, Oriel Vertigo, Bell John Mapal, Carbon Editing, Funkalicious, Elsie Finch, Minecraft, Stan Arthur, The Mr. Shrek, Valentino Valcaro, The Audience, and of course CBR Network. Thank you for joining me. And again, I'll ping you when this stuff is available on Adobe Stock. Want to point out again, if you're looking to become a stock contributor and you've got stuff lying on the cutting room floor that could otherwise be leveraged and or monetized, can't emphasize enough, just do it. Just do it. If you've already got your Adobe CC account, just go to stock.adobe.com/contributor and it'll take you there to start the process. And I'll pull this up one last time. This needs updating. This is actually what you'll see on the Fotolia site, which is where the uploading actually happens, and then trickles into the uploading happens there, but of course you search the stock site when you're looking for stuff. But this kind of gives you an idea of the formats. Again, it doesn't list all the codecs. You don't even see ProRes and things on here. And as I mentioned earlier, there's some formats on here that you just don't want to export to. The fact that it even mentions, resolutions 320 by 240. I don't think anybody's uploading that. Not that you couldn't, but who's working in that? Give me more so I can shrink it down. I don't want to start with a 320 master. But 5 to 60 seconds in length. These are the important ones. Max file size 3,900 megabytes, so just under 4 gigs. Keep the FPS as native frame rate. Don't change that, and only keep sound. This would be my opinion. This should change. Music obviously isn't permitted, but only keep the sound if it's really good. As I said in the very beginning of this stream, I've looked at some where they have like waterfalls and things, and it's the camera capturing the audio, and they kept it, and it's okay, but it's kind of mono, and you get a lot of the kind of wind getting in the way. So it's not like it's a good sounding waterfall. It's a good looking waterfall, but the sound wasn't great. So I'd honestly say, like if you're doing, wide angle desert landscape and you can hear, crickets and bugs and owls and things, yes, that's great sound. Good natural ambient sound. Even sometimes just recorded on like native camera mic can be okay. But when you get into louder things, continuous loud, rapids, flowing water, engines, if you're doing stock photography of cars and things, the camera audio, unless it's really good, I'd probably silence it. Just because it'll likely get replaced anyway. So, all right, everyone. Well, listen. Have a great rest of your evening, afternoon, morning. For those of you who are still with me, hey, it's 4:20 for those of you on the West Coast. Can't wait to see you all again tomorrow. Once again, I will try. I'm going to aim for. I'm an audio snob, so I doubt much audio would be acceptable. Yeah, hey, listen, I let my guard down with regard to certain things, but with regard to stock footage and having downloaded some and tested and seen it, it just makes sense, right? Unless it was really well recorded, I don't need your monophonic, 44K, 16-bit, ocean sound, which ultimately just kind of sounds like when, I've got library. You can get free libraries of that stuff via Loopology, which you can find links to on my site, buddhajumusic.com. So, tens of thousands of sound effects and such. So, very funny, Admiral Shane. All right. Hey, great to see you. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Oriel Vertigo. Much love, Finch, Valentino, Minecraft. Great to see you all. Stan Arthur, Valkyro. All right. And everybody. It's been great. And I will see you tomorrow. And have a great evening. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.